So here we're starting Act 3, and we are at the palace. Banquo enters, and he's having some internal dialogue that the audience can hear. Let's see what his mood is. Thou hast it now, King Cawdor Gloms, all as the weird women promised, and I fear thou playedst most foully for it. It doesn't take long for us to understand his mind. He is thinking about Macbeth. He is thinking that there has been some foul play in order for him to have attained all that the weird women have promised. And so let's continue on. Yet it was said, it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. So he's thinking maybe some of those prophecies will come true for him. Maybe he is standing in Macbeth's way of being completely fulfilled. He's having some doubts. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? So he still has that hope that the prophecies will come true for him as well. And now he's interrupted, but hush no more. So we have that flourish of instruments as Macbeth, as king, comes into the room. He has wasted no time in having the luxuries of king bestowed upon him. And he's even immediately using the royal we, because the kings are more than just one person. They are appointed by God. They're seen as higher up in the natural order. So look at the way that he uses that pronoun. Here's our chief guest, he says immediately of Banquo. And Lady agrees. If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming. Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence. Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with a most undissoluble tie for ever knit. He is answering Macbeth just like the two of them answered the original king when they came back from battle. He's being quite gracious, and it's true that they are indissolubly tied together. Their prophecies stemmed from them being together, meeting up with the weird women, and he's being quite gracious. Macbeth has several questions that you might find a little suspicious. Ride you this afternoon? Aye, my good lord. We should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but we'll take tomorrow. Is it far you ride? As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better, I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain. So I'm only going to ride far enough so that by the time I get back it will be supper time. Fail not our feast, make sure you're there. My lord, I will not. He changes the subject somewhat. We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide. Parricide, like homicide, and infanticide, that of a parent. Filling their hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state craving us jointly. Hie you to horse, adieu till you'll return at night. Goes Fleance with you? Fleance is Banquo's son. Is he going with you? Aye, my good lord, our time does call upon us. I wish your horses swift and sure-foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. And Banquo does exit, and then Macbeth addresses everyone else who would be in the court. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. While then, God be with you. And so he sends everyone away so that when he sees them again at the mealtime, it will be good society. So they'll be happy to see each other again, but he's going to keep himself alone. But of course, we know that he has probably a different purpose, and he does talk to his servant. Sir, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure. Are there men outside that want to speak with us? They are, my lord, without the palace gate. Bring them before us. And the servant does exit. And now we've got a very important soliloquy, the speech by Macbeth, that I want to draw your attention to. You probably want to take a little bit of note here. To be thus is nothing but to be safely thus. So to be this thing, the king, isn't anything. It equates nothing if I can't safely be king. So there's his state of mind as he continues. To be thus is nothing but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. We learned in the last act, as Macbeth asked him about his mind to speak about the Weird Sisters later, Banquo replies, oh, yes, as long as my conscience remains clear, as long as I don't do anything that's against my nature, I'll be happy to go along with these prophecies and to discuss this with you. And this does not sit well with Macbeth right now, because if a man has a conscience and is good of character, he's very hard to get on the side of evil. 'Tis much he dares into that dauntless temper of mind. He hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear. And under him my genius is rebuked. As it is said, Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then prophet like they hailed him, father to a line of kings. So here's another reason why Banquo sticks in his craw. He is to be the father of a line of kings. What about Macbeth? Macbeth is king right now. What happens to his children? Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown. Fruit, the fruit of marriage, the children. So his crown will not be passed down. And put a barren scepter in my grip. Fruitless and barren, same idea. If a woman is barren, she cannot have children. Well, his scepter is barren. It cannot be passed down. Thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. Unlineal, not in his parentage. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. The issue, Banquo's children. For them, the gracious Duncan, have I murdered, put rancors in the vessels of my peace, only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man to make them kings, the seed of Banquo kings. Rather than so come fate into the list and champion me to the utterance. His eternal jewel, his soul, everything on this earth and the place to come has been sacrificed, and not even for his children, but for Banquo's, and this does not sit well. How will he take care of this? So the servants do come in. Was it not yesterday we spoke together? It was, so please your highness. First murderer says this. Well then, now have you considered of my speeches? So he must have given them something to think about. Know that it was he in the times past which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were borne in hand, how crossed the instruments who wrought with them, and all things else that might to have half a soul and to a notion crazed, say thus did Banquo. So everything that's held you down, that's held you back in life, he's putting Banquo at the fault. You made it known to us. I did so and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospel to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever? So Banquo, and in connection, his issue, his children, have had hand in making this man's life miserable, had him beggar, so that he's being brought down in life. We are men, my liege. And now he's almost like he's acting towards them as Lady Macbeth had acted towards him, calling down them being a man, but not the character of what makes someone a man, but that they're not even men the way other people are established as men being better than animals. Aye, in the catalogue ye go for men as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, shows, water rugs, and demi-wolves are clept all by the name of dogs. So all of these breeds are known as dogs, but some are better than others. The hounds are kept in the masters for hunting, but curs, mongrels, mutts, those aren't the same as what could be kept in as the master's dog sleeping by the fire. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike, and so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not in the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who wear our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect. So if you want to move above being a mongrel, a cur, and you would like to be on our side, you take my enemy off my hands, and I can see it happen. Second murderer. I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do despite the world. So the world has brought me down, and I have no allegiance to that world, so I will work for you. And I another so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid of it. I too am suffering in this world, living hand to mouth. I would do anything to be elevated somewhat. So now he gets to the point. Both of you know Banquo was your enemy, true, my lord. So is he mine, and in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. And though I could with barefaced power sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down. And thence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons. So yes, I am a king. I can take care of this if I wanted to. Just a wave of my hand, make him disappear, but I can't. His friends are my friends. It would cause me a little bit of disruption in my life, so I have to go with you people. We shall, my lord, perform what you command us. Though your spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on it, for it must be done tonight, and something from the palace. So it has to be away from here. Always thought that I require a clearness, and with him to leave no rubs nor botches in the work. Fleance his son, that keeps his company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart, I'll come to you anon. We are resolved, my lord. I'll call upon you straight, abide within. So I'm going to come to you with this information of where to find Banquo and his son, the exact time, the place, and your job will be easy. And then they leave and he is by himself for this rhyming couplet. It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight. So the order has been given. He is going to be killing Banquo.